Welcome. Thank you for joining the Intro to Scholarship session. I hope that what I have to share meets your needs. Today, I would like to discuss how study abroad scholarships interact with financial aid, and then some of the top study abroad scholarships for UC Merced students. After that, I want to share resources and tips to improve your odds of landing an award. First, how does a competitive scholarship impact your financial aid? Well, imagine that a semester costs about $18,000, that you receive about $9,000 in grants, and the remaining budget is filled by a combination of different loans and maybe either work or unmet need. A $2,000 scholarship would first fill any unmet need until either the scholarship or the unmet need is exhausted. If any scholarship funds remain, they would start replacing the least favorable forms of financial aid, that is, the least desirable loans, before replacing the more favorable forms of financial aid. So, what is a scholarship worth? Imagine you apply for and win a $2,000 award. It might cost you several hours of your time and effort, but you could end up with an award you can list on your resume, saving hundreds of dollars in interest on student loans and maybe extra perks with a leg up in the job search, say. Now let's look at the scholarships. The first and perhaps most important award for UC Merced students is the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship. The Gilman is intended to expand access to study abroad to students who might not otherwise be able to go, and to diversify study abroad. At up to $5,000 per award and maybe another $3,000 if you focus on a critical language, this is a heavy hitter. Now, to be eligible for the Gilman, and because the program is funded by the US government, you will need to be a US citizen by the start of the program and be eligible for the Pell Grant at the same time. The program will also require that students study in regions with travel advisory levels of 1 or 2, with a few exceptions. To apply for the Gilman, know that there are two main deadlines. The first Tuesday in March for programs leaving the summer or fall of that same year, and the first Tuesday in October for programs leaving the spring of the upcoming year. However, if you're organized and a good planner, the Gilman allows students to apply a whole application cycle early to get an early award decision so that you can secure funding often before you commit to a study abroad program. The application typically requires an online application form, unofficial transcripts, and 3 to 4 essays, depending on your intentions. Next, we have the Freeman-ASIA program. As the name might imply, the program focuses on study in Asia, and awards can be as high as $7,000 for the year. Please note that there are few summer programs long enough to qualify for the summer award. To be eligible for the Freeman-ASIA, and because this program is also funded by the US government, you will need to be either a US citizen or a permanent resident of the US for this program. Your study abroad destination will have to be in East or Southeast Asia. For most of our students, this means Korea, Japan, Singapore, mainland China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, or Thailand. But Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Macau, Malaysia, Mongolia, the Philippines, and Vietnam are eligible too. And you will need to have financial need, a 2.8 GPA or higher, little or no experience in your host country, and it cannot be your last semester before graduation. The deadline to apply usually lands in late March to early April. The Freeman-ASIA application and instructions tend to be released later than most, but we tend to see an online application, a pair of essays, your transcript, and information on your financial aid and costs. The Dutton Haver Scholars Program is funded by a UC Education Abroad Program alumna who values year-long study overseas. For this, the program rewards year-long study and those who extend from a semester to a year. To be eligible, you need to be applying to a year-long option with UCEAP. You'll also need to have a targeted academic focus while abroad, either on your major or language or culture. Normally, applications are due March 1st for the academic year cycle and October 1st for the calendar year cycle. Typically, you'll submit a few short, well-written statements, an online application, a little information to demonstrate your financial need, and a letter of recommendation. The last scholarship application I'll focus on in this session is the UCAP Global Scholarship application. With a single common application, you can apply to the core UCAP Global Scholarship or a number of other scholarships. Some will consider merit, some will target underrepresented cohorts, some specific terms or specific countries. While you can't win more than one award per term with this application, you can usually apply for multiple terms such as fall and spring for a year-long option or year-long program. The main requirement to be able to submit the application is that you have to be doing a UCAP option. Some of the other awards under this common application might require that you study in specific regions like Asia or Africa, specific countries like Italy or the UK, or for at least a summer or even a year. You want to review each of the awards to see whether your one application can apply to multiple scholarships. You will typically apply by February 15th for summer, March 15th for fall, and September 15th for spring. And if you're doing a summer plus fall option or a year-long option, you can easily apply for multiple terms and win multiple awards. The application tends to be quite simple too, just an online application and a 500-word max statement of purpose. Now that we've covered the 4 most common scholarship applications for our students, let's talk about resources. Please know that your study abroad advisor wants you to win scholarships. They're good for you and they're good for UC Merced too. We can and want to review your statement of purpose, but we kindly request that you give a week for us to review it and provide feedback. You can also take advantage of the Writing Center. If you have a project proposal for the Gilman or the Freeman-ASIA program, or you need to rush an official transcript, talk to your study abroad advisor. Let's talk about putting your best foot forward on your scholarship application. First, know that your finances and your academic history are fairly fixed, and your best shot at improving your application is to really focus on your statement. You want to know what the vision and objective of a scholarship is and write to that objective. You tend to have limited space to answer statement prompts, so focus on how your study abroad program helps you meet academic and professional goals, not your travel ambitions. And if you really can't make study abroad work without funding, lay out the financial impacts an award might have. If we could offer a single piece of advice, it would be to start planning early. It'll give you more time to submit a meaningful, intentional application. It'll mean you have time to proofread and correct mistakes and redraft if needed. And if you're applying for more traditional study abroad destinations, be ready to explain why with academic or career-based rationale. If a scholarship like the Gilman or UCAP Global Scholarships has diversity goals, we encourage you to disclose those in the context of addressing essay prompts. Finally, the scholarships covered here are not a comprehensive list. There are other awards we encourage and support, like the National Security Education Program, also known as the Bourne Scholarship for undergrads, with an emphasis on languages strategic to U.S. national interests, or the Critical Language Scholarship, a program that fully funds students to study one of 15 languages for the summer. Other scholarships are more targeted, maybe because they're tied to the study abroad provider, or they are looking for niche student cohorts. Others are simply not specified for study abroad, but might still be applicable if study abroad is not expressly forbidden. We encourage you to look into all of these as time permits. Now, thank you for your attention and interest in study abroad scholarships. Again, we want scholarships to win as many awards as they can, and we hope to support you in these pursuits. The links here and on our website will help you get started with each of these awards. Thanks again.